So, this yoga system, bhakti yoga, how to increase attachment for Krishna is being taught by our Krishna consciousness movement. Maya Saktamana Prartha Juvang Junyan Madasra. In this connection, one has to learn this yogic system from Krishna directly or from his representative. That is the meaning of Madasra. One must take shelter either. So, at the present moment, it is not possible to take shelter of Krishna directly. Therefore, one has to take shelter of his bona fide representative. And there are four parties or sampradaya who are Vaishnavas. The Brahma Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya and Kumar Sampradaya. So one has to take shelter of either of these Sampradaya, disciplic succession, and then learn the Bhakti Yoga system from him. Then he will understand or he will see God. Seeing God is not exactly seeing with the eyes. God's another name is Anubhav, realization, revelation, realization. So that is wanted. That revelation is made by Krishna himself to the bona fide devotee. Sevanmukhi hi jibhado sameva spurattada. Krishna, God reveals himself. Just like you cannot see the sun in the darkness of night. Sun is there in the sky, but somehow or other, when your planet is on the other side and it is darkness, you cannot see the sun. Not that the sun is not there, but you cannot see. Similarly, Krishna is always present before us, but we cannot see him. Just like Krishna, when he was personally present, there are so many hundreds and millions of men on the surface of the globe. Only few could see him that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So even God, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna comes before somebody. It is not possible to see him. The seeing process is different. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena. One can see when the eyes are anointed with the ointment of bhakti. When the eyes are cleansed to see God. That is revelation. It is said that a pure devotee is seeing Krishna every moment. Shanta sadaiva. Sadaiva means every moment he is seeing. But that means he is a different person. His senses are purified, electrified, sanctified. That's what he is seeing. And one's eyes, if not sanctified, purified, then he cannot see. There are so many examples. That's like a machine. A child is seeing but he cannot see properly. He sees a lump of matter. But an engineer, when he sees, he immediately understands that this machine is made by such and such, it is working for this, a good machine, bad machine, nice. He can see in different way because he has got the eyes to see. Similarly, to understand Krishna, God, we require to purify our senses. That is defined by Narad Pancharatra. Sarvapati vinirmuktam, being freed from all kinds of designation. Just like we are seeing Krishna consciousness, accepting Krishna consciousness in a vision, and somebody else, ordinary man, suppose somebody is in Christian, he sees Krishna consciousness as a movement of the Hindus. But actually it is not. Therefore, he has to become free from the designation of becoming an American. Sarvapati vinirmuktam. One should be free from the designation. Like this body is a designation. Actually there is no difference between American body and Indian body. The same physiological construction. There is blood, there is flesh, there is bone. If you see within the body, there is no difference. But still, we have designated, I am American, you are Indian, you are black, I am white, and these and that. These are all designations. False. So one has to become free from the designation. That is defined. That when we are freed from the designation, sarvapati vinirmuktam, one should be freed from the designation. Actually, designation has no value. The person is important, not the designation. So, to see Krishna means first business is to become free from the designation. Sarvapati vinirmuktam. Tatparatena nirmalam. Here it is said matpara, and Narad says tatpara. Tatpara means to become Krishnized. And matpara means, Krishna says, you become matpara. Intensely absorbed in me. And the devotee says, intensely absorbed in Krishna. That is it. But actually the aim is the same. So one has to become designated free and intensely in Krishna. Sarvapadi vinirmuktam matparatana. Then he will be nirmal. Nirmal means purified, without any material contamination. I am thinking in terms of my bodily concept of life, that is material, because the body is material. So long I am thinking I am American, I am Indian, I am Brahmin, I am Kshatriya, I am this, I am that, they are all designation. That is not nirmalam, purified condition. Purified condition is when one understands that I am spirit soul, Krishna is the supreme spirit soul, and I am part and parcel of Krishna. We are one in quality. We may be different as individual. Krishna is big individual. I am a small individual. Just like in this material world also, one man is very powerful, another man is less powerful, but both of them are men. They are not animals. Similarly, Krishna, God, is qualitatively one with me. Quantitatively, he is very, very powerful. He is
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय, नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय, प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय, श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपनाथ धाम राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवदीप धाम की जय, गंगा माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, यमुना माई की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय, all glory to their glory, all glory to their glory, all glory to their glory. Thank you very much. Deinasmin yatha dehi kaumanam yaumanam jara तथा देहांतरम प्राप्ति धीर सपन नमः. So, this is a statement by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavad. Yeah. You are not this body. The first instruction or spiritual understanding is to know that I am not this body. This is the beginning. The so-called yogis, they are exercising the body, studying the psychology of the mind by charts, by so many humbugs, but our pleasure is that we are not this body. And what is the question of exercising the body and spiritual realization? If I am not this body, then how I can realize myself simply by some gymnastic process? So, this is the mistake. The Kurmis, Gyanis and the Yogis. The Kurmis, pretty worker, materialistic person, they want bodily comforts. Their only idea is how to get the best comfort of this body. This body means the senses. They have got eyes, ears, nose, mouth, tongue, hands, genitals, so many senses we have got. So as soon as we are in the bodily concept of life, immediately the necessity is for senses. But Krishna says to Arjuna that you are not this body. So therefore, my self-interest does not depend on my bodily comfort. They do not know this. Everyone at the present moment in this age, their only business is how to gratify the senses. Atheistic principle. Just like there was a great atheist, Charvak, all classes of philosophers, they are there in India. The Western countries, they have got little information, but in India there was cultivation of all kinds of philosophy. The atheist philosophy was there. Charvak Muni is the chief of the atheist class of philosophers. So he said, hedonism, the Western philosophy is hedonism. That eat, drink, be merry and enjoy. This philosophy. So long you have got this body, eat, drink, be merry and enjoy. The Charvak Muni also said like that. Rinam kritya dhritam vivek. In India, bodily enjoyment means first tongue. Tongues enjoy everywhere. Here also. Tongues enjoy. So if we want to control our senses, therefore Bhaktivinoda Thakur, following the footsteps of previous acharyas, he says that control your tongue. Control your tongue. And in the Bhagavad it is said, Agar Sri Krishna Namadi Navave Grayam Indriya. Without these blunt senses, we cannot understand Krishna. We not possible. These senses are so imperfect that you cannot acquire any perfect knowledge, material or spiritual, by the senses. That's not possible. Even if you cannot know perfectly the affairs of this material world, it's like they are studying the moon planet, the nearest planet. Besides this moon planet, there are millions and trillions of other planets. They cannot say anything. Because the senses are imperfect. How you can understand? I can see, say, up to 1 mile. But when there is question of millions and trillions of miles, how you can use your senses and have the perfect knowledge? So you cannot have material knowledge perfectly by using these senses. What to speak of God and spiritual knowledge? That is beyond beyond your concept. Therefore Shastra says, Atha Sri Krishna Namadi Navavi Grayam Indriya. If you want to know God by mental speculation, that is Frog philosophy. Dr. Frog, calculating Atlantic Ocean, sitting down in the valley. This is called frog philosophy. Then, how it is possible to understand? The next line is, Sevanamukhehi jivharo sanameva sudha. If you employ your tongue in the service of the law, he will reveal himself to you. He will reveal. Revelation. So therefore, you have to control the tongue. What is the tongue's business? The tongue's business is taste and vibrate. So you vibrate in service of the Lord, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna means, O Krishna, O the energy of the Lord, kindly engage me in your service. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. This is the meaning of Hare. It is not a meaning. Oh my Lord Krishna, and oh the energy of Krishna, Radha especially. Finally, both of you engage me in your service. As Narottam Thakur said, Ha ha Prabhu Nanda Suto, Vrishabhanu Suta Juto. My Lord Krishna, you are well known as the son of Nanda Maharaj, and your eternal consort, Radharani, she is also known as the daughter of King Vrishabhanu. So both of you are here. Aha Prabhu Nanda Sutta Vrishabhanu Sutta. Karuna Kalahaiva. Now I have come to you. Please, both of you, be merciful upon. This is Hare Krishna. Be merciful upon. Narottama Dasa kahe, na chaiya na paye. You are lotus feet, young one. Don't neglect me or puja with your lotus feet. I think if Krishna kicks and puja, and that is our great function. You see, if Krishna kicks with his lotus feet, well, that is also great function. What to speak of accepting? Reply, when Krishna was kicking on the hood of the Kaliya, so the Kaliya's wife prayed, my dear sir, I do not know this culprit Kaliya, how he became so fortunate that his hood is being kicked by you. Your touch of lotus feet, great sages, saintly personal, trying to meditate upon millions of years, but this Kaliya, I do not know. What did he do in his past life that is fortunate that his food is being kicked by you? So, this is our position, that we cannot understand Krishna by our mental limitation. That is not possible. We have to engage. Sevamuki jivado. Beginning from jiva, but tongue. Tongue is the greatest enemy and it is the greatest friend of you. If you allow the tongue to do whatever it likes, smoking, drinking, eating meat and this and that, then it is your greatest enemy. And if you do not allow the tongue, you can control the tongue, then you can control all the senses. Automatically. তার মধ্যে জিহ্বাবতী লোভময় সুদূরময় তারে যেতা কঠিন সংশয় কৃষ্ণ বল দয়াময় করিবারে জিহ্বায় যায় সপ্রসাদ অন্ন দিল ভাই সেই প্রসাদ অন্ন পাও রাধা কৃষ্ণ গুণগাও প্রেমে ডাকো সেই জন্য The tongue should be used always for glorifying the Supreme Lord. That is our business with the tongue. And the tongue should not be allowed to anything except Krishna Prasad. Then you become liberated. Simply by controlling the tongue. And if you allow the tongue to do anything, then it is very difficult. So the spiritual education, as Krishna says, begins when you understand that I am not this body and satisfying the senses is not my business because I am not this body. If I am not this body, why shall I bother myself to satisfy the body only? Body means the senses. This is the person. So the karmis, jnanis, yogis, they are all trying to satisfy the demands of the world. The karmis are directly doing that. Eat, drink, be merry, and enjoy. Their pleasure. Jnani is simply trying to understand that I am not this body. Neti. This is not, this is not, this is not, this is not. The yogi, they are also trying to come to the point of controlling the senses by bodily exercise. What is it? So their center of activity is body. Center of activity is body. And our philosophy begins that you are not this body. When they pass their examination in studying this body, then they may be able to understand what is their function. But our philosophy begins that you are not this body. Post-graduate step. You are not this body. That is Krishna's instruction. We have seen so many big politicians and scholars in India. They write comments on Bhagavad Gita, but they write on this bodily concept of life. We have seen in our country, Mahatma Gandhi, his photo is in Bhagavad Gita. But what did he do? Throughout his whole life, his bodily concept. I am India. I am India. Nationalism means that's bodily concept of life. I am Indian, I am American, I am Canadian. But we are not this body. Then where is the question of I am Indian, I am American, I am Canadian? So they have no this knowledge, the bodily concept of life that absorbed and is still there, authority of Bhagavad. Just see the fun. And Bhagavad Gita teaches in the beginning, you are not this body. And they are in the bodily concept of life that just try to understand what is their position. What they can understand Bhagavad Gita. If one is feeling that I belong to this nation, I belong to this family, I belong to this community, I belong to this cult, I belong to this, I belong to this religion, everything is bodily concept of love. The yogis, they are also trying to understand by bodily exercise. The jnani is also trying to know, understand fully that I am not this body. And the karmis, they cannot understand. They are as animals. The animals cannot understand that he is not body. Actually, the karmis, jnanis, yogis are a little maybe elevated than the animals. That's all. They are on the animal platform, but it is little elevated. So I give this example, perhaps you heard it, that the dry side of the stool. India, they pass stool on the open field. So at the end of the day, because there is sunshine, the upper side of the stool becomes dry. And the lower side is still moist. So somebody says, this side is very good. And he does not know it is stool after all. And this side or that side. So these rascals, they are on the bodily concept of life and they are thinking that I am nationalist, I am yogi, I am this, I am that, I am that. This is the feeling. So long you are in the bodily concept of life, you are no better than the animal. That is the Bhagavad. You are right. Jashyatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke. Jashyatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke. Sadhi kalatra dishuhomoijyati. Jat tirtha buddhi salilena karhichi janeshu abhigneshu saiva gokha. So, gokhara means, go means cow, khara means ass, animal. So who is that? Now, Jashyatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke. This bag of tridha, kapha, pitta, vayu. One thinks that I am this body. I am this body. And in body relation, because in body relation I have got my family, society, children, wife, country, and therefore they are mine. So this Shastra Buddhi Kunapi Tridha. Sati means thinking they are mine. I am God. Sati Kalatrajishu. Kalatra means wife. Through wife we get children, we expand. The Sanskrit word is three. Three means expand. I remain one. As soon as I get wife, I become two, then three, then four, then five, like that. That is called three. So, our expansion, these expansion, this material expansion, bodily expansion means illusion. Janasya mohoyam aham nameti. This illusion increases. That I am this body and in bodily relation, everything is mine. Aham. Aham means I and mama means mine. So long one shall remain in the bodily concept of life, his illusion will increase. It will never decrease. Therefore, the first instruction of Krishna told Arjuna, because if Arjuna would not have been in that position of illusion, that I am this body, and the other side, my brother, my grandfather, my nephew, they are all my relations. How can I kill? This is illusion. Therefore, to dissipate this illusion, darkness, Krishna begins the first lesson that you are not this body. Dehinasmin yathadehi kaumarajo tatha dehantaram prapti. You have to change this body as you have already changed. You have already changed. You are a baby, you change your body to child, you change your body to boy, you change your body to youth, you change your body to old man. Now, after changing the body, as you have already changed so many times, similarly, there is another change. You have to accept another body. Very simple logic. You have already changed. So, tatha dehantaram prapti dhirastatra niyati. Because there is the bodily concept of life and this body. And the body has no change. Body is changing, is seeing actually in this life. Still, you will not believe that after changing this body, I will get another body. It is very logical. Dehinasmin yathadehi kaumarajo tatha dehantaram prapti. Exactly in the same way, as I have changed so many times this body, I will have to change. Therefore, one who is intelligent, he should try to understand that what kind of body I am going to get next. That is it. But that is also explained in the Bhagavad Gita. What kind of body you can get. Janti deva pratadi man, pitrim janti pitrim prata, bhute janti bhutan. Manjari bhi janti man. If you want to go to the higher planetary system, where demigods live, for hundreds and thousands, millions of years, just like Brahma. Brahma in one day cannot calculate. So in higher planetary system, we have got thousands and thousands of better facility for sense gratification and duration of life, everything. Otherwise, why the Kurmis, they want to go to the heavenly planet? So, Janti Deva Pradar Deva. So if you try to go to the higher planetary system, you can go. There is process. That's why for going to the moon planet, one must be very expert in the karma kanda, spiritual activities. By karma kanda, you get by the resultant action of the pious activities, you can be promoted to the moon planet. That is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavad. But you cannot enter moon planet by this process. By force you shall go with this aeroplane and jets and footbridge. Suppose if I have got a nice motor car in America, if I want to enter in another country forcibly, is it possible? No. You must get the passport, visa, you must get sanction from the government, then you can. Not because that you have got a very good car, you will. So we cannot by force. This is foolish attempt, childish attempt. Therefore nowadays they stop, they do not speak. They are realizing their failure. In this way cannot. So, but there is possibility you can go if you adopt the real process, you can be promoted. Similarly, you can go to the Pitri Loka by offering Sartha and Pinda. You can go to the Pitri Loka. Similarly, you can remain in this Loka, Bhutejya. Similarly, you can go back to home. So, who is intelligent? He go ask, what is the benefit by going to the planet, back to Godhead? That is assured in the Bhagavad Gita. Mam upeta kauntya, dukkhalayam asasatam nāpivati. If you come to me, then you won't have to accept again this material body, which is full of miserable knowledge. He will remain in the spiritual body. So our Krishna consciousness movement is meant for allowing, elevating all living entities. It is not for all. It is very difficult. But anyone who has accepted this Krishna consciousness movement, if he follows the principle, then he is surely going to home, back to God. That is all. But if you deviate, if you become attracted by Maya, that is your business. But we are giving you information. This is the process, simple process. Chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, be purified. We remain always liberated from material classes. And Tapkal, Mahamudita, Janma Karma Medipam Jujana. If you simply try to understand Krishna, then Tapkal, after quitting this body, Mom, he will come to me. So this is our philosophy. It is very simple. and everything is explained in the Bhagavad Gita, you try to realize and preach this kind for the benefit of the whole world, then everyone will be happy. Thank you.
Get out of here. Hare Krishna. Oh, glory, Shri Guru and God. Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
सरस्वती भूषण प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णविंद की जय, नामाचार्य शील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तविंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गौ गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवद्वीप धाम की जय, समवेत भक्तविंद की जय। All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much. चातुर्वर्णं मया चातुर्वर्णं मया सृष्टम गुण कर्म विभागश तस्य कर्तारम अपि मां विद्धि अकर्तारम अव्ययम। This is a verse from Bhagavad Gita. Most of you know this book, Bhagavad Gita. It is very famous book of knowledge. And we are presenting Bhagavad Gita as it is. This Krishna consciousness movement means to present Bhagavad Gita as it is, without any adulteration. So Krishna says, four classes of men. Chatur Varna. Chatur means four. And Varna means division of society. Just like Varna means color. As there are division of color, red, blue and yellow. Similarly, human being, human society should be divided according to the quality. The quality is also called color. The Chatur Varnang Maya system, Guna Karma Vibhagas. So, there are three qualities in this material world. Three qualities, or three color. Red, blue and yellow. You mix it, then you become 81 colors. Three colors, 3 upon 3 multiplied, it becomes 9. 9 upon 9 multiplied, it becomes 81. So, there are 8,400,000 different forms of living entities. Due to this mixture of different qualities, nature is manufacturing different types of body according to the association of the living entity to the particular type of quality. Living entities are part and parcel of God. Suppose God is the big fire and living entities are just like sparks. The sparks, they are also fire. Sparks also, if one spark falls on your body, on your garment, it burns. But it is not as powerful as the big fire. Similarly, God is all-powerful, God is great. We are part and parcel of God. Therefore, our greatness is very, very small, infinitesimal. God is great, therefore He has created so many universes. We cannot account for even one universe. This one universe which we see, the sky, the dome, within that sky, outer space, there are millions and trillions of stars, planets, they are floating. Floating in the air, everyone knows. We can float one Sputnik in the sky and we take so much credit that we have become very, very great scientists. We don't care for God. This is foolishness. Foolish person will say like that. But one who is intelligent, he knows that God is floating millions and trillions of planets in the sky. And what we have done in that comparison. This is intelligence. So, We have become very much proud of our scientific knowledge, and therefore at the present moment we defy the existence of God. Sometimes we say that I have become God now. These are foolish statements. We are nothing in comparison to the intelligence. He is also intelligent. Because we are part and parcel of God, that we can study what is God if we simply study ourselves. Just like if you study a drop of sea water, if you analyze chemically, you'll find so many chemicals in that drop. So you can understand what is the composition of the sea. The same composition, but in greater quantity. That is the difference between God and ours. We are small gods, we can say, small gods, teeny, sample gods. Therefore we are so much proud. But we should not be proud, because we should know that all our qualities are taken from God, because we are part and parcel. So originally all these qualities are there in God. And therefore Vedanta Sutra says, what is God, what is absolute truth, athata brahma jigyasa, when inquire about God, about the absolute truth, the answer is immediately given, janmadasya jataha. The absolute truth is there, from whom everything comes, everything emanates. So everything is coming from God. He is the original source of all supplies. Now, what is our position? There are innumerable living entities. Nitya nityanam chetanas chetananam. That is Vedic information. God is also a living entity like us, but he is the chief living entity. And we are also living entities, just like one father. Father may have got 20 children, 20 sons. Formerly they used to have 100 sons. Now the fathers have no such power. But up to 5,000 years ago, King Dhritarashtra gave birth to 100 sons. Now we are saying that we are overpopulated. But that's not the fact. At the present moment, where there is the question of overpopulation, now how many of us giving birth hundreds of children? No, nobody. But formerly, a father could give birth to 100 children. So there is no question of overpopulation. And even there is overpopulation, we get information from the Vedas. Eka jo bahunam vidadhati kaman. That one chief living entity, God, he can maintain innumerable living entities. There is no question of overpopulation. This is a false theory. If God can create, he can maintain also. And actually this is the fact. I am traveling all over the world. There are so much vacant places upon the surface of the globe that the 10 times more than the present population can be easily maintained. But we do not know how to use it. In Africa, in Australia, in your America, there is enough land
still lying. But because we have encroached upon the land of Krishna, the difficulty is there. China is overpopulated, India is overpopulated. But if we take to Krishna consciousness, these difficulties will be over within a second. Krishna consciousness means to take everything Krishna's. I am also Krishna's. That is Krishna consciousness. Actually that is fair. Everything Krishna means God. Everything belongs to God. I also belong to God. Ishavasam idam sarvam. Everything belongs to God. That's the fact. But we do not accept the fact. We take something illusory. Therefore it is called Maya. Just like the Americans, they are claiming this land is for the American group. Similarly, other nations, but the land actually belongs to God. The land, the sky, the water, and the products in the land, in the sky, in the water, everything belongs to God. And we are children of God. We have got the right to live at the expense of Father, just like we live, small children. They live at the cost of Father. Similarly, we also live by the arrangement of God. Why should we claim that this is our property? This is the idea of spiritual communism. In Bhagavad, these things are stated, how to feel spiritual communism. In the spiritual communism, the present communists, they are thinking of the human being only. And the animals are being sent to the slaughterhouse. Although the human being and the animal is born in the same land, actually they are also nationals. National means one is born in that particular land. So why not these animals national? But because they have no Krishna consciousness, they cannot think so broadly. They think nationalism means it is limited to the human being, not to the animals, not to the trees. But when you become Krishna conscious, you understand that the trees, the plants, the reptiles, the aquatics, the human being, the beast, everyone, each and every one, part and parcel of God. According to their karma, they have got different bodies. The color, as I explained. According to the karanam gunasanga asya sadasat janma jonishu. These things are described in the Bhagavad Gita. One has got a different type of body according to his karma. Karmana daivanetrena jantat deha upapattai. By karma we create next body. So this is a great science. People do not know how things are taking place, how there are so many species of life, how one is so-called happy, one so-called distressed, why one is rich, one is poor, why there are so many planets, why some of them are demigods, some of them are human beings, some of them are animals. It is a great science, but there is no cultivation of this knowledge in the modern universities or educational institutions. Perhaps we are the only group of men, we are trying to propagate this science of Krishna consciousness. But it is a perfect science to understand the position. Now, Krishna says, Chaturvarnam maya system gunakarma vibhavasam. When we are animals, we have to pass through animal bodies. By evolution, we have come to this human form of body. Now, it is an opportunity to get out of this cycle of birth and death. This is our real problem. But people, because they have no education, poor fund of knowledge, there is no educational institution how transmigration of the soul takes place. They do not know. Big MA, PhDs, but they do not know what is the actual position of the living entity. But that is the real problem. They do not know the real problem. The real problem is, it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. Birth, death, old age and disease. This is real problem. Nobody wants to take birth. At least nobody wants to die. Birth and death. Wherever there is birth, there must be death. Anything which is born must die. So, Janma Mrityu and old age. So long you live, you have to change your position. So one position is this old age. Just like we have become old, there are so many complaints. Jara and Vyadhi. And when we become diseased, everyone should become diseased, everyone should become old, everyone must die. This is the problem. Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Doshanudarsa. We are trying to mitigate all our miserable conditions of life, that is struggle for existence. We are scientists, we are discovering many counteracting processes to get out of distress condition. But the difficult position, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, we are avoiding. Because we cannot do anything. We cannot, the so-called science, they cannot solve this problem, although sometimes they falsely become proud that by science we shall become immortal and so on. These things were tried before also by atheistic class of men like Ravana or Hiranyakashipu. But it is not possible to become successful, to stop birth, death, old age and disease. That is not possible. If there is any possible process, that is Krishna consciousness. That is Krishna consciousness. If you become Krishna conscious, then you can get a body, not get, you have already got the body, spiritual body, and upon that spiritual body, this material body has developed, just like dress. Your coat is cut according to your body. Similarly, this materially body is cut according to our spiritual body. So we have got our spiritual body. This material body is covering. Bhashangsi Jinnani. Just like dress, your shirt and coat is the covering of your real body. Similarly, this body, gross body and subtle body, made of material elements. The gross body is made of earth, water, air, fire, and the subtle body is made of mind, intelligence and ego. This is the certain core. Within this certain core, there is the soul. So, the soul is now encased in this material body, and our business in the human form of body, in animal form of body, we cannot do this. But the human form of body, we can understand that I am not this body.
The body, this material body, is a outer encasement, and because I have got this body, I am subjected to birth, death, old age and disease. Now, in the human form of body, I understand it. So, if I take the process, how to get out of this cycle of birth and death, then our human life is success. This is Krishna consciousness movement. How we are helping people how to get out of this material body and revive your own spiritual body, and in that spiritual body you go back to home, back to God. This is the process. Takta dehang punarjanma naiti. But people are so attracted to this material body that they are prepared to become cats and dogs next life, but they are not prepared to go back to home, back to God. This is the problem. So why this problem? Because the human society is in chaos, a chaotic condition. There must be division of 4 classes. One class must be Brahmana, intelligent class. And one should be Kshatriya, one class, the administrator. Because human society, they require good consulting brain, good administrators, good producers and good workers. That is the division of Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Therefore Krishna says, Chaturvarnang maya system. In order to keep smooth facilities for human life, there must be 4 divisions. If you say that we don't require Brahmana, if you don't require Brahmana, then you will suffer. Just like you have got this body, and if you think this part of the body is very expensive, always eating, cut it off. Then you will dead. Similarly, just to keep your body in good condition, in living condition, you must have your head, you must have your arms, you must have your belly, you must have your legs. You cannot say that I can avoid this part of the body. No. Similarly, Chaturvarnang maya system, the 4 divisions of the society must be there. Otherwise it will be chaotic, a dead body. So at the present moment, the difficulty is there is no Brahmana, there is no Kshatriya. There are only the Vaishyas and the Shudras. Belly, Vaishya means belly, and Shudra means the leg. So if out of the 4 divisions, one is one who knows God, that is Brahman. And keeping in view God, they teaches others to become God conscious. Without becoming God conscious, the human society is simply animal society, because animals cannot be God conscious. However, you may go on preaching amongst the animal cats and dogs. It is not possible, because they have no brain to understand what is God. So, in the human society, if there is no Brahmana who can teach about God, who can elevate person to God consciousness, then it is also animal society. Simply eating, sleeping and sex life and defense, these are the business of the animals also. The animals also know how to eat, how to sleep, how to enjoy sex life, how to defend. They know in their own way. So simply to do these business does not mean human being, then the mission of human being will not be fulfilled. There must be the four classes of man as Krishna recommends. Chaturvarnang maya system. There must be a Brahminical class of man, a Kshatriya class of man, a Vaishya class. There are already, but they are not very scientifically settled as it is propounded in the Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvarnang maya system. These are guna karma vibhas. Guna means according to quality. So, in India, these four classes of men are there, but they are in the name. Actually, it is also in the chaotic condition because nobody is following the prescription as given by Bhagavad Gita. Guna karma vibhagas. In India, although a person born in a Brahman family, but his guna qualities are less than Shudra, but still he is being accepted as a Brahman. That is the difficulty. Therefore, India's condition is so chaotic. But this is a scientific process. You Western people, you should try to understand that. And our boys and girls who have joined, they are trying to understand and execute the principles. So, if you take up this Krishna consciousness movement, which is meant for the Brahmanas, if you become Brahmana by quality, then the Western nations will be, especially in America, they will be first class nation. They will be first class nation. You have got intelligence, you have got resources, you are also inquisitive, you catch up good things, so you have got good qualities. You take up this Krishna consciousness movement seriously and you will become the first class nation of the world. That is my request. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Follow like that. Hare Krishna,
Jayam Svat Paramahamsa Paribrajagacharya Sattara Sadasama Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai, Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadvip Dham ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Jamuna Mai ki jai, Tulasi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Swamita Bhaktavinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotee. All glories to the assembled devotee. All glories to the assembled devotee. Thank you very much.
All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma.
5,000 years ago in India, many saints and sages gathered on the banks of the sacred river Ganges. They came from throughout the world to witness the last 7 days in the life of the great devotee, King Parikshit. The king had renounced his fabulous wealth to dedicate his few remaining days to spiritual enlightenment. At that meeting, Sukadeva Goswami, the most exalted sage in the assembly, narrated the pastimes and teachings of Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He discussed all aspects of knowledge, from the creation of the material universe to the culture of spiritual life, and held the king and sages in rapt attention. His teachings, known as the Bhagavad Purana, or Srimad Bhagavatam, were transcribed in the ancient Sanskrit language, and their glories are thus explained in the Bhagavad itself. This Bhagavad Purana is as brilliant as the sun, and has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion and knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of this age of Kali shall get light from this Purana. Through the ages, these teachings about Lord Sri Krishna were transmitted intact from spiritual master to disciple. Shripad Madhvacharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Goswamis of Vrindavan, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Sri Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, and in the early 20th century, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who ordered his disciples to preach Krishna consciousness around the world. He especially desired to distribute Krishna-conscious literature in the Western countries. His disciple, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, took this order as his very life. In 1966, he founded the International Society for Krishna Consciousness for Worldwide Preaching. Then, for worldwide publishing, he established the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. Srila Prabhupada himself is the author of all of the books. He has been acclaimed as the world's most distinguished scholar and teacher of Vedic philosophy and culture. While translating each Sanskrit verse, he refers to books of commentary by previous spiritual masters, and then gives a thorough explanation of the text.
Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives in this connection a description of a difference of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and ordinary living being. So this is difference of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and ordinary living being. This has been described in the previous verse. Sadbang pumana vida gunang satadgya naveda sadbhagga mananta mire. The purport is that Supreme Lord, He is omnipotent, omniscient, He knows everything, but the living being does not know actually what is the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the difference between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and ordinary living being.
Now we will follow one verse as it journeys from translation by Srila Prabhupada through the process of book publication to its distribution around the world.
This Bhagavata Purana is as brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Purana.
Hare Krishna. Hello. You can send all the things over to the art studio. John, as soon as possible.
Navdeep Das, please report to graphic design. Navdeep Das. Damodar Prabhu, please pick up on line 40.
Srimad Bhagavatam, we require 100,000 copies. But on this reprint, we'd like 250,000.
Prabhu, this package just arrived by air freight from India.
Ah, Jai. This is the latest translation of Srimad Bhagavatam by our spiritual master. Prabhu, take this manuscript to the Sanskrit department and tell them it's first priority. And put a marker next to Srila Prabhupada's name.
Done.
From the production manager, the manuscript goes to the Sanskrit department.
Krishna Sudhamopagate Dharmagyana Saha.
Here we see that the ancient script has been rendered into Roman letters. The editor is adding diacritical marks as a guide to pronunciation.
This Bhagavad Purana is as brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to cap his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc., period. Persons who have lost...
An English editor now checks the manuscript for proper punctuation, grammar, and spelling. He dictates the corrected text onto a tape.
Paragraph, Lord Sri Krishna has cap H as eternal Dhamma, comma, or abode, comma, where cap H he eternally enjoys cap H himself, with cap H as eternal associates and paraphernalia, period. His eternal goal...
His recording is then transcribed.
...of cap H is eternal energy, comma, whereas the material world is the manifestation.
In the composing room, devotees retype the text on computerized machines that transfer each typed letter into an electronic code. The codes are recorded on magnetic tape, and any language can be composed in this way. The tape, with its coded information, is now fed into an electronic computer. The coded impulses from the tape are stored in the computer's memory bank. Then the computer activates a photo typesetter. The typesetter converts the stored codes into light-sensitive impressions on photographic paper. When the paper is developed in a processor, the resulting image looks exactly as it will appear in the finished book. The typesetting machine can run off more than 2,000 characters per minute. At this rate, the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, as Sukadeva Goswami first spoke it, could be reproduced in 24 hours. The layout man cuts the photographic paper to page size and mounts it on artboard. Next, the page is photographed on a reproduction camera. The retoucher removes any blemishes from the negative. Before the book is printed, blueprints are made of all the negatives, and the blueprints are carefully proofread. Meanwhile, during this entire operation, the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust artists illustrate verses and purports from the pages of the Bhagavatam. They begin with pencil sketches, portraying the scenes exactly as they are written. These sketches are sent to Srila Prabhupada for approval and then traced on canvas. With great care and devotion, oils are applied. The artists have to work quickly to keep pace with modern book production techniques. This painting, for instance, took only 2 weeks to complete. For reproduction, the finished painting is photographed with a special studio camera. A reading on a color analyzer assures that the colors are correctly balanced on the final print. The devotee technician programs a computer processor which automatically develops the print. Next, the picture goes to the layout department, where it is scaled to the proper size. The book is now ready to print. At this point, page proofs are checked for accurate color reproduction. After being printed, the books are stored at the BBT warehouse in Los Angeles. From there, they are shipped throughout the world.
Volume 1, 25,000, Volume 2, 28,000, Volume 3.
Well, with this issue, we have to put 3 pallets aside for Africa, between Nairobi and Johannesburg.
Devotees load thousands of books into special air containers to jet freight rush orders within 24 hours. The narrations concerning the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, are the oldest writings known to man. Over generations, they have influenced civilizations in both the East and the West. Now, under Srila Prabhupada's guidance, the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust has become the world's largest publisher and distributor of these spiritual classics. In English language editions alone, the Book Trust has sold 30 million magazines and 10 million books. Its greatest undertaking is the continuing publication of the 60-volume Srimad Bhagavatam, the essence of all spiritual and material knowledge. The ultimate source of everything that be is explained rationally and authoritatively in the beautiful Bhagavatam. Therefore, it is the transcendental science meant for the re-spiritualization of the entire human society. Another publication of major importance is the 17-volume Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. The original Bengali verses, translated and explained by Srila Prabhupada, describe the life and teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to deliver the easiest and most sublime process for self-realization in this age. These books offer original Sanskrit and Bengali texts, Roman transliterations, word-for-word English synonyms, concise translations, and readable purports by Srila Prabhupada. They also feature detailed glossaries, general indexes, verse indexes, pronunciation guides, and original full-color paintings and photographs. Also published by the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust are a number of shorter works in cloth and paper editions. In 1944, Srila Prabhupada started publishing Back to Godhead magazine in India. Now his disciples are continuing this work in many other countries. The English language edition has a monthly circulation of 1 million copies, making it the West's most popular periodical on Vedic philosophy and culture. His Divine Grace is the spiritual master of a worldwide movement, and his books have thus been translated into 15 major languages, including Spanish, French, German, Chinese, Japanese, Italian, Swedish, Dutch, Portuguese, Polish, Swahili, Gujarati, Hindi, and Bengali. Bhagavad Gita, as it is the Western world's best-selling and most widely used edition of India's greatest religious classic. Nearly 1 million copies of the English edition have been sold. Srila Prabhupada's books are studied in universities and colleges throughout the world. In America alone, 90% of the colleges and universities have already ordered these books for their students, professors, and libraries. Harvard, Yale, and Oxford lead the list of prestigious schools that have placed standing orders for all 17 volumes of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and the entire 60-volume set of Srimad Bhagavatam. Throughout the world, scholars glorify Srila Prabhupada's writings. Dr. J. Bruce Long of Cornell University praised Srila Prabhupada's works as a cause for celebration. And Dr. Daniel H. Ingalls of Harvard said, "I am most happy to have these handsomely printed volumes." Dr. Gary Gillade of Oxford University wrote, "This is a work to be treasured. The spirit of its message shines brightly from the pages." Devotees at the temples of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness study their spiritual master's books daily. They have dedicated their lives to presenting the teachings of Krishna consciousness to the entire human society.
Have a moment of your time?
Yeah, sure. Oh, wonderful.
I'm from the Krishna Temple, and on the request of my spiritual master, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, we're making these ancient books on transcendental knowledge available to the people here in the West. This is the history of the life and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. I'll show you one verse which, is very good, gives a basic idea of the book. Says, this Bhagavad Purana is as brilliant as the sun. And it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness in this age of Kali shall get light from this Purana. Purana Actually, I don't think anybody here in the West has a spiritual master. Sri Chaitanya Kripa Bharau Bhuvi Bhuva Marava Antarakau Bande Rupa Sanatana Jagujugau